It's almost November. Hey there and welcome to my channel. This is Foggy Fiction and I am Haley. I'm a writer living with mental illness, doing my best to show that mental health does not dictate talent or worth, and hoping to encourage others to chase their dreams. If you are new to my channel, I try to post 1 to 2 videos a week, usually about things related to writing, reading, and mental health, but sometimes I get off topic and that's okay too. In today's video, we are continuing our Preptober checklist and moving on to outlining. Let's get to it. Alright, so we have decided on an idea, brain dumped everything we possibly could about that idea, maybe even changed our mind and did all of that again. Hi, that's me. So what's next? For some of you, that's it. That's all you need, you are good to go. For the rest of us, we start outlining. Now there are various ways to outline and no way is wrong. You just have to find the way that suits you best. If you're like me, different projects require different styles. I've mentioned before that I am a complete pantser when it comes to poetry and short stories, so there are definitely no outlines there. I did plotting one way with my first book, but when I tried to use the same method with my second, I didn't need as much. So how do you know what works? Trial and error, and maybe a few good tips from friends. Which is why I'm going to break down how I do things. The first thing I recommend doing, and if you're like me, you already started this during the brain dump phase, is to look into plot templates. I don't remember which one I found first, but the two I started with were the 9-block outline, which was a picture I found on Pinterest, and Caddy-tastic's 3-act, 9-block, 27-chapter outline, which you can find here on YouTube. I later found the Save the Cat beat sheet, and now I kind of keep all of those in mind while outlining, giving my story a chance to show me which way works best. As I said in the brain dump video, I asked myself questions taken directly from these plot structure outlines when coming up with ideas, so at this point I already have some of the outlines sort of figured out. I do mostly use Save the Cat, so I have a blank copy of that beat sheet saved into my docs that I can just pull up and start filling in. And since it's on a doc that I can fully edit, I can also add in anything from the other outline methods that I think are right for the story too. If you don't want to be typing your outline or need a different visualization, I definitely recommend note cards or sticky notes where you can do basically the same thing while being able to arrange them in front of you. And you don't have to start from the beginning and work to the end. If you already know what the climax would be but you're unclear on the opening right now, cool, fill it in and come back to the opening later. You can obviously work your outline in whatever order is best for you. Now you might be asking yourself, how much do I need to put into this outline? Again, this is something that might depend on the story, but mostly it depends on you. I've watched videos with authors who have said that their outlines have several pages, sometimes 20,000 or 30,000 words. Basically, an outline that's more like a zero draft. I've also seen videos where they say that their outline is just a couple sentences for each beat on the beat sheet. For me, I like to do 1 or 2 paragraphs, sometimes more or less, for each beat. I have terrible memory and I don't trust myself to remember all of the things or the context, so I like to give a good summary that includes all of the important things without going into unnecessary detail. That's unnecessary for me, so you have to find out what's unnecessary for you. Give as much or as little information as you think you'll need. By the time you finish writing your first draft and get ready to start outlining your next book, you'll have a better idea of what kind of outline you'll need the next time around. For my second book, this was enough. That's all the outlining I needed. But when I was writing my first book, I added one more step into my outlining that really helped me stay focused and on track. I did what I refer to as deep outlines. For every chapter, I would make a bullet list of every single thing that happened in that chapter. It might look something like, main character is sitting at a table in a cafe, listens to friend talk about their day, internal dialogue about thing that's troubling them, internal dialogue about feeling guilty for not really listening to friend asks if main character is listening, main character admits that they weren't, dialogue about what is troubling them, waiter comes over to table, waiter asks if they are done, and so on. You get it. I do this for every single chapter, but I only do it after I've completed the previous chapter and am ready to write the next one. I was struggling a lot with my first book to keep the story from getting off track. There was a lot more stuff edited out of that manuscript before I switched to using this method than there was after. But when I went to do that with my second book, I didn't find it necessary. It should be noted, though, that I was halfway through writing my first book when I realized that I was a plotter, so that's probably the difference. I think there were only 2 chapters in my second book where I whipped this method out to help me, so I haven't completely ditched it. It's a good backup whenever you feel like you're having trouble and need help keeping your mind focused. So those are my outlining ways. What about you? Do you do outlines? Are you someone who does the really long ones, or do you keep it shorter? Do you ever find yourself needing to do the deep chapter outlines like I do? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're interested in following my very clumsy journey as a writer living with mental illness, and enjoy the happy moments.